Hey, it's Good Game Spawn Point time. I'm Jem.
And I'm Rad. Today on the show, we see if the new Harry Potter Wizards Unite mobile game is marvelously magical or just for muggles. Plus, Dragon Ball becomes an action-packed card game. We review Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission.
I know he's got a cold. Well, tell Will to get better and we'll see him next week.
Make him a cheese toasty. That'll fix him.
Okay, bye. Who's gonna co-host with us, Rad?
Oh, I've lined up just the one. Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission is the latest in the Dragon Ball Heroes series, which began as an arcade game in Japan in 2010 that used physical trading cards as part of its gameplay. That game was ported to the 3DS and called Super Dragon Ball Heroes Ultimate Mission, with its sequels Ultimate Mission 2 releasing in 2014 and Ultimate Mission X in 2017. And that now brings us here to World Mission on the Switch and PC.
Basically, Dragon Ball is the Kingdom Hearts of the shonen world, and World Mission is no different, complete with that fan-fiction feel to it. The you in this story is a young, spiky-haired boy living in Hero Town, an alternate reality where the card game Dragon Ball Heroes is just that, a game, and a popular one, as people flock from all over to battle it out on a virtual 3D plane.
Things take a turn for the strange, though, when the game world gets infected with anomalies. The popular characters altering their own timelines and bleeding into the real world. So, it's up to you, the great Saiyaman 3 and your plucky band of fellow Dragon Ball hero players to get to the bottom of this world-bending business. How do you do that, you ask? By playing cards! When you say it out loud, it doesn't sound particularly thrilling, does it?
No, but once you get into it, you'll find there is plenty of aggressive shouting and glowing explosions to keep things lively and fill in the plot holes. To kick things off, you select 7 cards to form your deck. These characters will be your fighters. Each have their own hit points, class, and special abilities. Combined, they will determine your team's overall HP and, when placed, your power level.
In terms of placing your band of heroes on the board, there are 4 zones to consider, 3 battle zones and 1 support zone. How far up the board you go will raise your team's power level and also the damage of individual attacks, but will also lower each unit's stamina. Get too low and you leave them open to targeted attacks, so you'll need to be moving stunned or drained characters in and out of the support zone between turns. I probably didn't do this as much as I should have, often leaving low stamina characters out and just hoping for the best.
Well, to be fair, there is a pretty big element of that when it comes to the actual fighting too. Before you or the enemy can take a swing, both teams have to make a charge impact, or CI. Whoever lands the bar on the highest point of the meter in 3 seconds wins. The loser either landing a lesser blow or failing to block an attack. It is tricky to nail that perfect score, especially if the bar is moving really fast. Which it does if your character is particularly rare or powerful, but I didn't really feel any sense of accomplishment from winning, and you'll sometimes have to do this 5 or more times during a match.
I do think quick time events, if used well and with consequences, can be a good way of creating a sense of urgency. But even when I started deliberately failing them, I'd still come out on top. Don't get me wrong, winning is great, Radley loves to win, but I want to earn my victory.
That's exactly it. I never felt like I'd earned anything. I'd pick cards at random, not even looking at their abilities, and go into a battle with a way lower power level than my enemy. Beyond the CI events, I would just sit back and watch as the game played itself. Sometimes I'd be prompted to launch a particular attack or use an ability, and so I would passively sit by, directing my players to where I was told. But then suddenly the match would be over. There is a lot of strategy and card information to learn if deck building is something you're really interested in. But for me personally, why should I bother when the game has proved that I could just, for the most part, succeed without trying?
Well, I do think it's worth giving the game credit for including so much information and giving you the tools to learn. You can even go in and create your own custom cards from pieces you win in matches. The crafting system is very detailed, letting you customize just about everything, from the character it represents down to their HP, abilities, and CI speed. Rarer cards can be won from the gacha shop, and if you've got the funds, you can buy bonus items from the local stores.
There is an online mode with local and multiplayer matches as well, but again, it's more of the same cutscene fights and QuickTime events. Overall though, Rad, what'd you think?
I do think if you just want to see a bunch of classic Dragon Ball characters get together and duke it out, then you won't be disappointed. I appreciate the attention to detail, and the fight scenes themselves are quite the spectacle, but at the same time, I could go watch the anime for that. I just didn't find enough challenge in this. I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
I think a big part of why this style of game was so popular in arcades was that novelty of having physical cards. On the Switch though, it doesn't hold that same charm. And without solid writing, engaging combat or challenge, it was hard to get invested. So I'm giving Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission 2 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Good morning, Australia! It's time for the scoop with me, Darren! Now let's dive straight in with another head-scratching Darren's Challenge!
Darren, aren't you forgetting something?
Oh, how can I forget, please? Welcome my guest, Jem!
Thanks, Dad.
Oh, no, where was I? Oh, that's right! Darren's Challenge! Can you name this Stardew Valley villager?
Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Smolana?
I don't think that's a name, Jim. Anyway, answer at the end of the scoop! Now for some news. First up, some Pokemon brain science. A recent study found a specialized brain region response to images of Pokemon in people who had extensive experience with Pokemon games during childhood. Researchers say this finding may help offer insight into how the brain organizes itself.
That's really cool, Darren. Oh, and speaking of Pokemon, did you hear there's going to be a new Pokemon mobile game from the makers of Super Mario Run?
Affirmative, Jim, though it's not estimated for release until March 2020. Moving on, and Minecraft recently celebrated its 10th birthday! To mark the occasion, they've released the stripped-back 2009 version of Minecraft, known as Minecraft Classic, for free on web browsers, and a special map detailing the game's history. What a trip down Minecraft memory lane.
Wow, 10 years of Minecraft. And we're celebrating 10 years of GGSP this year too, eh, Darren?
Affirmative! Oh, how long is that in dog years, Boatmeal? What's that? Oh, affirmative. He reminded me that there's a common misconception that 1 human year equals 7 dog years, when it's actually a little more complicated than that. It depends on breed and the size of the dog and all sorts of things.
You got all that from... Okay then.
On to another piece of news, and a patent for a haptic braille accessory for Xbox controllers has been uncovered, suggesting that Microsoft may be developing a controller for the blind and visually impaired.
This sounds really cool. The more people who get to enjoy gaming, the better.
Affirmative. Now it's time for the extra scoop! What delightful slice of gaming goodness have you rustled up this week, Jem?
Well, speaking of Pokemon brain science earlier, some folks at Nintendo Wire have used their brains to recreate the trailer from the Detective Pikachu film in the style of the Game Boy Color's Pokemon Yellow.
Impressive! Maybe there should be a recreation of the whole film in this form. Before we go, it's time for the answer to Darren's Challenge! The name of this villager in Stardew Valley is... Caroline! Caroline lives with her husband, the town shopkeeper, Pierre, and their daughter, Abigail, at the general store.
Oh, Caroline, of course! I always get her confused with Emily. Actually, I may have accidentally delivered quest items to Emily that were meant for Caroline.
But Jem, they clearly have completely different hair colours.
Well, it could be just one person who dyes their hair many different colours, Darren. You know, people do that.
Oh, Jem. Classic Jem. Now, will you look at the time? It sure flies when you're having this much fun. That's all the scoop we have this week. See you next time.
When Pokemon Go swept onto the scene in 2016, it was an international sensation. Hordes of people flocked to areas teeming with Pokestops, and it seemed like there was some Pokemon-related incident on the news every other day.
Now Go's developer Niantic have teamed up with Portkey Games to create a Harry Potter-themed mobile game called Harry Potter Wizards Unite.
Unite has launched in Australia and New Zealand before anywhere else in the world as a beta version, much like Pokemon Go did. And if that's anything to go by, what we're seeing here is pretty much the final version.
When you load it up, the first thing you'll see is how marvelously Harry Potter everything is. There's recognizable items and characters from across the magical world of Hogwarts that just make my heart sing. All it took was that famous theme music playing for me to be really geared up for a wizarding adventure. I grew up with the books and the movies, and this world means so much to me.
Oh, me too, Gem. I was really impressed at the animations, and there's even wonderfully voice-acted lines, building a bit of a story for you.
And confoundables are the chaotic obstacles you must remove in order to return a foundable.
The gameplay is super familiar, being based off the maps and technology that power Pokemon Go. By wandering around in the real world, you encounter various confoundables, things from the wizarding world that risk exposing it to non-magical muggles. It's your job to stop that from happening by doing what wizards do best, casting spells.
I have to say, Rad, I do find it a little confusing though. So there's foundables, which are the good things from the magic world, and then confoundables are the bad things, and they're messing with them, so you have to defeat the confoundables to capture the foundables.
Gotta catch 'em all!
Wrong game. Spells are cast by tracing your finger over a pattern. The faster and more accurate you cast, the more likely you are to be successful. And Rad, this is where my problems with the game start.
You mean the very first and basically main thing that you do in the game?
Yes.
There's pixies on you!
Part of the novelty with these games is playing in augmented reality, or AR, so you can see the game world overlaid on the real world. But to catch anything in AR, you have to stand in a particular spot, line up some stars, then start spellcasting.
Oh dear, Hagrid is trapped.
This means you can't play while walking unless you turn off the AR, so the feature is basically unusable.
Not to mention, tracing with one hand is really tricky. And playing one-handed is basically a must for a mobile game that has walking as a main gameplay feature. If you don't walk, you can't find more confoundables, and thus there's nothing to do in the game. And there's port keys, which are basically chests, that are unlocked by walking, but it seems the distance is only counted while the app is open. Which wouldn't be so bad if there's lots of confoundables to catch, but...
There's just not. Rad, I went on a whole big walk the other day and only found like 2 things. All that good work for nothing.
I know this was a criticism of Pokemon Go back in the day, especially from people that don't live in dense cities, but I feel like it's even worse in Wizards Unite. The world feels even more empty, with a glut of extra features that lead to dozens of pages and menus for collectibles that just do not excite me. At level 6, you do get to choose a profession, but it doesn't change the gameplay much, and by the time I got there, I just didn't care anymore. In trying to flesh out the game, it's like they lost sight of how people would be playing, and that's what would and wouldn't be a useful addition.
Totally. It's like it's doubled down on Pokemon Go's problems and then stripped away what made it successful. Loading screens take way too long, and there doesn't seem to be much in the game encouraging people to play together. There are fortresses which have enemies you can battle as a group, but as they're always active, they don't encourage gatherings like Pokemon Go's raids. I don't get that same sense of community.
I did like wandering around with you though.
That's just because we like hanging out.
Yeah, true. I think a big part of why this feels so boring is that we're all completely burned out on the Pokemon Go formula. I just don't care about tracing a shape over and over so I can collect virtual stickers to fill my sticker pages.
I also just found the inns and greenhouses, which give you energy and items, so lackluster. In a mobile game, every millisecond of time I have to spend waiting for an animation to finish is agony. So beefing up these glorified Pokestops with all this fanfare was not a good time for me. I'd been really looking forward to Harry Potter Wizards Unite, but after playing it, it's definitely not something I'm going to be continuing with. I'm giving it 1.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
There may be magic out there, but it is not in this game. I'm giving it 2 out of 5 rubber chickens.
All right, Rad, it's time to tackle another quiz load of gaming questions.
It sure is. Are you ready to rumble?
I am rumbling ready.
Well, let's get stuck in with this video question from Sebastian.
Hey GGSP, I have 2 questions for you. 1, if you know how to make games, can you try and make Cars 3 Dream to Win on the iPad? 2, how many car games are there on the PS4? Thank you.
Thanks, Sebastian. Keep an eye out for your GGSP pin. Now, in answer to your first question about whether we can try and make Cars 3 Driven to Win for the iPad, well, this is not really something we can do.
Yeah, that's right. While we love playing and reviewing games, and we sometimes meet game developers, we aren't actually professional game developers ourselves, so we can't make Cars 3 Driven to Win for the iPad. The version that's available for other platforms like PS4, Xbox, and Switch was developed by Avalanche Software. And I haven't heard of any plans for an iPad version of the game.
But there is a Cars game for iOS available called Cars Lightning League, so you could give that one a spin. Oh, there's also Forza Street, a Forza mobile game which is out now for Windows and coming soon to iOS and Android.
You know, Jem, I really like the Cars movies. I cried in Cars 3. As for how many car games there are on the PS4, you really are spoiled for choice. I haven't tallied them all because there are quite a lot, but rather than trying to count or list every single one, why don't I throw out some recommendations for cool car games on the PS4, like the Time Attack Racing of Trackmania Turbo, or the Off-Road Rally Racing in Dirt 4. Perhaps a little arcade vehicular combat in Onrush. Then there's the Wipeout Omega Collection, Drive Club, Project Cars.
Or you could mix it up with some different vehicles in the crew too. Moving on to some more questiony questions now, and these are from Starry Seashell Queen of the Roblox Ocean.
Hi GGSP, I have 3 questions for you. 1, can you get Subnautica Below Zero on PS4? 2, can you get Subnautica in VR? 3, what do you think Minecraft's next update will be? Thanks! P.S. If you don't answer these questions, I will get my dolphins to attack you! Thanks, Starry Seashell Queen of the Roblox Ocean. In answer to your first query about whether you can get Subnautica Below Zero on PS4, well, not yet. The developers have said that they are aiming to bring the Below Zero update to PS4 when it's ready for proper release, but it's still in early access for Mac and Windows PC. And with no sign of an early access version of Below Zero on PS4, we'll just have to wait and see. Get it? See? Like S-E-A?
Oh no, I get it, but I will not be lured into another Subnautica pun pool with you, Rad.
Pool, eh? Got him.
As for the Subnautica is available in VR, I do believe there is a VR mode for PC for selected VR headsets, but PlayStation VR is not supported. And I don't think the Below Zero update will have VR support either.
Now, to what we think the next Minecraft update will be, well, the Village and Pillage update did just come out, and I don't really know what the next major one would be. But let's see if Darren knows. He knows lots of things with his big robot brain. Actually, it's a CPU.
Hello, you've reached Darren.
Hi, Darren. Just wondering what you think the next big Minecraft update theme will be.
Well, it's hard to say for sure, but I do have some ideas of my own for possible updates. Let me just find my notes. Here we go. Perhaps something icy and magical, like Winter Wonderland. No, wait. Wizards and blizzards! And of course, robots are always on trend. How about bots and blocks?
Wow, so many good ideas, Darren. You know, you should send these into the Minecraft devs.
I should. Perhaps I'll have my assistant set up a meeting. Affirmative. I best get on that now. Ciao.
Bye, Darren, that's a great idea. You go get him.
Right, well, let's have another question, shall we? And here's one from Mikhail in Melbourne. Hi GGSP, my name is Mikhail. I live in Melbourne and I have some questions for you. 1, what is the best PC game? 2, is Overcooked 1 better or is Overcooked 2 better? 3, do you remember a game called Scribblenauts Unlimited? That's all I need to say, bye!
Thanks, Mikhail. In answer to your first question about the best PC game, well, there are just so many really good games for PC, it's pretty much impossible to choose just one. Of course, Dota 2 is my all-time fave, but there are heaps of other awesome ones, like Portal 2, Stardew Valley, 2 Point Hospital, Parkasaurus.
Then there's Ori and the Blind Forest, Rayman Legends, Cuphead, Subnautica, and of course, Minecraft. Many of these are available on a range of platforms as well, not just PC.
Now, to which is better out of Overcooked and Overcooked 2? Well, this is a tough one. Overcooked 1 is obviously the original and is a great introduction to the game. The recipes are pretty easy to get your head around, and it's just a whole lot of couch co-op and fun.
But Overcooked 2 brings some fresh creative levels to the table. It takes that overcooked recipe and adds a few extra ingredients. Plus, I like the story mode in this one with the unbread and all. But I must admit, things get a bit more complicated in Overcooked 2. So I think the first Overcooked is the best to start with if you haven't played either.
That is a very good point, Jem. As for whether we remember Scribblenauts Unlimited, I genuinely do not remember if I've played this or not.
Really?
Yeah, I play a lot of games, Gem.
I mean, fair enough. As for me, I didn't play any Scribblenauts Unlimited personally, but I did play Scribblenauts Showdown.
What did you think of it?
Pretty good.
Yeah. And on that note, I believe that's all we have time for today. If you've got a question you'd like to ask us, go here and send it in.
And keep those video questions coming. It's great to put a face to the question, and if we choose it for the show, you'll score a special GGSP pin.
You know, Gem, I think some of Darren's Minecraft update ideas were actually pretty good, you know? I can really see myself playing Wizards and Blizzards.
I suppose so. Oh, I've got one. Gems and jams. You could mine for precious gems and make delicious fruit preserves.
Oh, I like it.
Maybe we could make games right. Well, we're out of time, but next week on the show, we've got to go fast. We're going to take the new Team Sonic Racing all the way to the finish line. Plus, a very angry octopus tries to destroy the world in Octageddon.
Don't forget to check out all our online exclusives, such as my Let's Play of Little Friends, Dogs and Cats with co-host Boatmeal.
Ah, the best boy. Until next time, may all your games be good ones. Gem out.
Rat out.
Darren out.